What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be updating you guys on the Waterbox. It's been 2 weeks since the last update video on this tank. We have a few new accessories in the tank. I want to kind of go over status of the corals, status of the fish, new things that have been added, and also plans coming up for the tank. All right, so let's go ahead and let's start on the left side. And first off, we have some frag racks. We have one here and one across there. These are from Ocean Box Design. I bought a little like NEM box from them like years ago, and I decided to get some frag racks. I'm gonna explain why. The reason why I'm getting these is for acclimation on the corals. I've noticed that some of the acros aren't liking the transition so fast, where like I pretty much once I get them, I frag them and I put them on there. I've tried to put them on the sand bed initially. That was okay, but the sand bed's only about 100 par. I want them to kind of get closer to like the 300, 250 par that they're going to be sitting on anyways. So normally I just transition them on there right away. And I've noticed that some of them do okay, and then some of them aren't doing okay. So with these frags, racks, I can kind of have them at the middle level. Like this is where I have a setter here. So that way it's not too intense in light where I don't have to like, you know, acclimate the light where I have to dial it back down. It could just be like half the par of what I would receive, or like, you know, 70% or 60%, I can move it down and move them up. So the plan is to probably put them on this rocks here. These rocks can actually hold some plugs. It's about like 100, a little 130, 120 par-ish. Go up to here. This is about like 200 par, and then once, you know, we acclimate them like from maybe like 2 weeks, like a week here, on the third week or so, we'll put them into like the rock structure. So that's the plan, because I've noticed like I said, some of the acros are not happy. So we got a few new acros. I'm gonna put the names on here because I don't have them on the top of my head. So we got that new acro here. We got a new one back here. This is from Jason Fox. I have placed an order. Same thing with this chalice. Wanted to try it. It looks kind of cool. So we have a chalice here that's sitting on the, basically there's gonna be the lower area. This guy's been doing decently and pretty good. You can kind of see the crab there. So this is my coral banded crab that was sitting outside. Started to decommission the tanks outside. Obviously, you know, we're taking down the racks out there. It's only housing for quarantine right now, but we have them in here. So that guy's chilling in here. This is the first acro that's been in the tank. You know, this guy's blocking the way. Get out of the way. And I would say the tips are starting to bleach a little bit, but I've noticed that some of the sweeper tentacles are kind of out and about, so it looks like it's kind of healthy again. I'm just gonna leave it as is. If it bleaches, it bleaches. If it grows back, it grows back across. I know it takes time. I know that we just need to have everything stable. This guy went through, you know, ups and downs on the first, you know, time I put it in the tank, because the tank was kind of all over the place. This one's already here. This is the Princess Peach. Looks like it's doing pretty good. I don't see any issues on the actual acro. No bleaching in that one. I have a new GSP here. This is from Jason Fox. I have this new little accessory for the little tangs. You can put like a whole sheet of nori in here, and that way you can peck at it. I tried it initially and they just kind of like ignored it, because maybe they're kind of like, this is kind of weird. So I have this guy and then the clipper over there. These guys are all the same. You guys seen them from the previous update. Nothing new there. Oh, the Montes, all the Montes completely bleached back, and I think that it's probably introducing or bringing them up too fast to the area up here where it's like way too much par, because it was sitting down here for like a week and then like went straight to like 250 par, 300 par. And that's the other reason why we got these racks here, just to kind of acclimate those. So all those guys bleach back, but it looks like, you know, I can see some of the polyps there, so hopefully they'll go back or grow back eventually at some point. Macaroni here, growing slow. This guy is growing, but growing really slow. These two guys, I don't know. They're just in there. So that's that box there. The TSA Tesla not really much change. I don't even really see the polyps as much. It's been sitting there chilling. So we have a new little lens here. This is like a magnifying glass. I decided to get this so we can kind of see kind of like the Acropora a little bit better, to see if it's actually bleaching, see if the polyps are extending and stuff and whatnot. So for example, like this guy here, it's bleaching. Like the tips at the very top are bleaching. And I think that it had some initial stress when I got it already, because it was moving from like a new tank to another tank before like I had bought it and got it, and it went to my tank and it got stressed again. So I would say like maybe, you know, some of these Acroporas that are like dying might not be completely this tank's fault, where like the parameters were like kind of all over the place, because I got like that one and then the Princess Peach and that guy all in the same order, and obviously the other ones are okay, and then this one isn't. I remember them mentioning that this guy was kind of transitioning to like a tank, and you know the colors kind of bounced back. Yeah, so that guy might not be doing too well, but again, I'm gonna let them chill. Hopefully some stable, you know, conditions for the next couple months will help bounce back or grow over the skeleton that is bleaching. This one over here is a Jason Fox flame tip. Again, looks pretty good. The tips are white, and I think the tips being white might be it growing, maybe. I can't really tell because this is my first time growing Acroporas. I don't know if that's normal. I don't know if it's just bleaching. Again, we'll let it be. We got the Monty in the back there. The Monty back there also bleached to nothing. So again, we'll let that be. So yeah, that's the update on the corals. The fish are all the same. We didn't add any new additional fish yet. We have some new additional fish outside in quarantine outside. I don't want to show you guys those fish, not because it's a surprise or anything like that. It's more of like, I had bought a few fish and not all of them made it through quarantine. Like for example, like one or two of them kind of just died on the first like 3 days, right, during quarantine. So I don't want to get you guys too excited where it's like, oh man, he's going to be adding this fish in there, and then like, you know, halfway through the quarantine process, like it dies or whatever, right? So I want to show you guys the fish that is going to be in the tank once it's finished with quarantine, it survived, and we'll add it to here, right? So there's a couple fish outside in the garage through quarantine right now. They're going through like the copper phase right now, and then we'll go through some other things with dewormer and all that whatnot. So I'll be probably, I want to say, it's been a week into the copper right now, so we still probably have another 3 weeks of copper, and then probably I would say another month or so before you guys will actually see those fish. But just wanted to share that we are adding a few new fish into this tank. I did make a list of the fish that I wanted to add into the tank. A few tweaks here and there, but I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be exciting for this tank because, as you can see, the tank is looking like it's kind of almost stock. It probably needs, you know, about the same amount of fish, and then I would say, boom, that's it. The rest will be corals. The reason why I want to kind of stock it a little bit heavy is just to kind of bring up the phosphate a little bit and the nitrates in the tank. I just want to keep it consistent because we have macroalgae in the tank. It's consuming it pretty fast. I did measure, you know, nitrates. It's like at 5 ppm, so I wanted to bring it a little bit higher, close to 10. Phosphates at like 0.05, which is probably a sweet spot. Maybe a little bit higher, just not over, you know, 0.1, but I think that's a pretty good solid spot. So yeah, down here, move this real quick. Down here in the sump, we got the clownfish, the bleach nems. As you can see, we have all bleach nems except for one. One is coming back. So I'm hoping that over time that these guys will come back, bounce back, and it looks like one of them will at least try to bounce back. This guy over here, it looks like it's bouncing back a little bit. As you can see, the shades are changing. I'm talking about like this bleach was like so bad that like you couldn't tell it was a, you know, a sunburst anemone. So anyways, looks like it's coming back. The mushrooms are still not wanting to grab on to any of these rocks here, so I'm waiting for anything to grab on. Once it grabs on, we can put them in the display, but right now it's just going to float around the display, and I don't want that to happen. The shadows growing pretty good, the macroalgae is growing good, and this guy, oh my goodness, this is actually the first time I've successfully grown this guy. I've always tried this in the past in my other reef tanks, And once I throw it in there, boom, it just melts, it just dies. But it looks like it's growing really nice. It's attaching to the walls and stuff. Can't wait for that to kind of grow out to be like massive. Those guys are doing well, so Sump's doing good. And let's go in the back real quick. So finally, this week I was able to put everything and mount it to these little shelves here. I want to show you guys down here. I just put like L brackets along the side just to kind of mount them in place in the bottom there. Same thing on the other side. We have the other one over there. The wiring is, it is what it is. It's going to be as clean as possible. In my standards, it's pretty clean right now. I did not paint it. I might not paint it because I would have to undo all the wires, paint it, let it dry for a day, and then re-put everything back in. That might be more of a hassle than what I wanted to do. Here's the other side. I decided to put the other energy bar instead of the just the typical like timer. I feel like the energy bar is a little bit better because you can kind of control it on Fusion, where you can kind of turn it off and on without having to go and manually pull the plug or not. So I think that's really, really helpful. But yeah, everything is looking decent. We have algae in the walls, normal. I think the algae is kind of normal, nothing too crazy. Algae on the floor is about the same. And the couple fish that I have outside, hopefully they make it. I'm crossing my fingers. Are sand sifters. They will hopefully cover and keep up with all this algae in the floor. But I did buy a few more snails to kind of sift through the sand until they're ready through quarantine, and hopefully they make it through quarantine process. We'll have some of the goby guys up in here sifting through the sand. But yeah, so that is the update on the water box. I'm going to do a quick feeding on this guy so you guys can enjoy the feeding. But that is the update. If you guys aren't subscribed yet, make sure you guys are subscribed. Like always, next time guys, peace.